Virginia Senator Mark Warner is the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, which has always in the past been bipartisan. He joins me now. Senator, thank you very much. A lot of concern, certainly from the House side, over this cutting off of the in-person briefings, because we know that in a statement, first of all, it's not sworn testimony when they send something in writing that is released publicly, and they can't be questioned. They can't be questioned about, what are the other analysts saying about this and how do you reach these conclusions? And according to Ratcliffe, this weekend with Fox Business, he's saying it's because he thought that Russia was unfairly being considered the biggest threat, when he says China is the biggest threat. If you could unpack some of that.
Well, Andrea, there's a lot to unpack there. And, let me step back for a moment. And one of the things I think we all would acknowledge, if the intelligence community, and frankly, even if the Obama administration in 2016 had been more forward-leaning about informing the American public of Russian interference in 2016, we'd be all better off. Our committee, which has been bipartisan, we looked at the Russia intervention. We finished 5 volumes. We know Russia is back doing it again, this time trying to discredit Joe Biden. And my fear is that what Director Ratcliffe is trying to do is limit the flow of information, not only to the Congress, but to the American public. The people that should be really offended about this are the American public, because if they are going to be the objects of a disinformation campaign, and I think it is incumbent upon us to get that information out to the public. And if Director Ratcliffe is trying to limit that flow of information, not allowing intelligence professionals to come up and brief our committees and allow that give and take with an intelligence professional, which is, again, much more powerful than simply getting a written document, then we're not going to be able to do our job. I don't think his decision can stand. Senator Rubio, the acting chair, and I have had a number of conversations about this. And again, I don't think this can stand, both in terms of his legal obligation to the oversight committees, but more importantly, the requirement to inform the American electorate. Last point, just both of Mr. Trump's prior directors of national intelligence, Dan Coats and Joe McGuire, made election security their top priority. They said it was absolutely their essential duty to inform the American public. I find it deeply disappointing that Ratcliffe does not seem to share that commitment.
And both of them were fired in part for that.
They were potentially fired because they told the truth.
Exactly. So one of the issues is Russia, particularly because when Ratcliffe's DNI released a public statement about the threats to election security, they tried to create, these are my words, a false equivalency between Russia, China, and Iran. The president and the White House wanting to focus on China and Iran, bad actors, we know, but that they were aspirational on behalf of, China was aspirational, it's suggested, on behalf of Joe Biden, whereas Russia was actually doing things on behalf of Donald Trump. And yesterday, Ratcliffe said it was, falsely saying that Russia was the biggest threat. It seems that the focus on Russia by many of the people coming out of the committees is what set the White House off and which may have led to this crackdown.
Well, if you look at even the Trump administration's response, we were very concerned that the intel community was not being forthcoming enough. Bill Evanina, a career professional, somebody I have a lot of faith in, came out about 2 weeks ago with a clearer statement that talked about Russian attempts to discredit Joe Biden, naming Ukrainian individuals. And one of the things we've been trying to press is, let's even get more information out to the American public about the specifics of all 3 of these countries' actions. But as I think you accurately point out, even the Trump intelligence community is laying out much more specifics about Russia. And I think there are more that need to be laid out.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.